Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a special treat for you. This is the 2021 A91 Toyota Supra. And I know you're just as excited as I am to kind of get into the driver's seat and just drive this car. However, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the lineage, the history, and what makes the Supra name so popular. Most of us recognize it from the Fast and the Furious movie. When you see the late Paul Walker drive the Mark IV highly customized orange Supra, the popularity of the brand just shot up from there. However, even before that, the 90s was a prime time for these JDM cars. And when I say these JDM cars, I'm talking, of course, about the NSX, the RX-7, the Skyline, and of course the Supra, among other cars. And the Supra in particular stuck its neck out because it offered something out of the box. An inline 6 2JZ twin turbocharged engine paired with a 6-speed manual transmission. And that 6-speed was a little bit rare because in the 90s you saw more of 5 speeds and you didn't see much of twin turbocharged engines. So that engine was kind of groundbreaking in the JDM market. And fast forward to today, most of the cars that I mentioned are still in production today. However, they kind of created their own little worlds. The NSX, for example, is in supercar territory. The GTR Skyline consistently demolishes other cars on the drag strip, even today with very little change. And of course, we have the Toyota Supra Mark V. And after an 18-year gap, the last Mark IV to be produced was in 2002. This made a return for 2020. So we're here today to answer two questions. Number one, does it live up to its hype? And number two, does it live up to its name? So let's get started. Let's talk about the overall design impressions. Number one, this car is very small. And I knew it was small when I saw the pictures, when I read the numbers. But when you actually see it in person, then you truly get the full picture here. It's a small car. If you're above 6 feet and you're planning on purchasing this vehicle, purchasing it online and booking it, I would say try to see if you can get into the driver's seat and see if it's a comfortable fit for you, because it is a little bit tight. However, if you sat in the Toyota 86 and you're okay, then you'll be fine with this because the size is roughly the same, give or take 5 inches on the length and the width, with the Supra being a little bit more bigger. However, the height is the same, 51 inches, and it's crazy to say that out loud. 51 inches is not that tall, so it's a low car, but it looks really nice. The stance looks really nice. Number two, this is the A91 package, so it offers its own kind of design cues. Number one is this refraction blue that it comes in, and this is the color that really makes this car pop, and it's only offered in the A91 trim. You can also get the nocturnal black. However, I've seen about roughly 2 or 3 of the A91s on the road, and they've always been in this blue. The black is not that popular because, again, this color just pops, but it's there. If you really don't like those decal strips on the back, you can get the black and it'll kind of blend it in, but that's your option. So let's talk about the overall the design here. Coming around the front, you have these LED lights. This LED strip is one of the longest strip I've ever seen on a car. You have these 6 lens LED lights. You have 3 for the low beam, 3 for the high beam, of course, and these are auto leveling as well, so they'll adjust as you drive. The front fascia looks nice. I love the lines, the curvature of the car, the fenders, the way they flush the tires. It's just a nice package. It looks like a meaty car. It is 3,400 pounds, so it's not that light, but it looks well put together. It looks like it has a lot of muscle, which of course it does, especially when you look under the hood. But the only thing is, last week I kind of bashed the Type R for having fake vents. This car is no exception. It kind of uses design elements from the same playbook. You have like a couple of fake vents here on the front, on the hood as well, and on the side door over there. They say you can make them functional. I think the only one you can really make functional is that one. Those two really don't go anywhere. This one maybe, but you have to do a lot of engineering around it. That one is just attached to the door, so I mean, really it serves no purpose. But I'm not going to say that it looks bad, or I'm not going to drill on it too hard. it looks cool. I mean, I'll give it bonus points for not making those vents so big and so, you know, blatantly obvious that they're fake. I mean, it's just, they're small. They kind of just sleep into the car, the overall body of it. So, you know, it's something that we can overlook. Coming around the tire here, again, something specific to the A91 are these matte black rims. These are twin spoke rims, 19-inch. The tires themselves, they're Michelin Performance Summer Sport tires, 255 on the width and 275 on the rears. That makes sense because this is a rear-wheel drive car. And then you have 35 on the aspect ratio and then the 19-inch rims. So the rims overall look nice, especially in this matte black. You have the 4-piston Brembo brakes. If you get the 3.0 Premium or the A91, you get that Toyota Supra logo on the brake calipers themselves. You don't get it on any other trim below that. These side view mirrors, carbon fiber, again specific to the A91. Just a quick note about these mirrors: when you put the car in reverse, the passenger side mirror folds down, and a lot of people kind of ask questions around this, like why is it only the passenger side? And the reason behind this is because if you're driving the car and you're parking it on the side of a road, you're parking it in the direction that you're facing. So when you're backing up into your parking spot, you should have that mirror pointing to the curb, and this mirror stays still to kind of show you the traffic that's coming behind you. It makes sense. The logic is there. I mean, you know, engineers and, you know, design teams came together in a room to think of these things through. So I mean, it's not like it's a flaw or a mistake or anything. There's a reason why these things are done. So a nice large heavy door. You have these satin finish black decals. Again, these are a hit or a miss amongst a couple of people. I don't mind the way it looks good, but some people really don't prefer it. They would, if they had the option to, they would just strip that off and just keep the other A91 design elements. Coming around the rear, you have this spoiler. Again, this is specific to the A91 package. There's a new one for 2022, which is called the CF edition. That's full carbon fiber, so that wing becomes carbon fiber. I believe the splitters and the diffuser becomes carbon fiber as well. Coming around the rear, you have nice looking taillights. However, I don't see much of the Mark IV embedded into this design. This is a completely new car with just the Supra name slapped onto it, but I like how they kept the original font of that Supra, that original badge. It looks nice. You have the GR badge. This is Gazoo Racing. For those of you who don't know, it's one of Toyota's performance divisions. You have the TRD as well. Don't confuse it with that. The TRD is the one you can find on the Camry and some of the trucks, but they're two different entities, both being offered in the market. Gazoo Racing you'll find with the Supra, I believe the new 86, and the Yaris as well. These are nice looking exhaust tips. These are slightly bigger than the ones you'll find on the 2.0 variant of this car. Variant is kind of a touchy word, especially in these times, so I'll say in this trim. These are brushed as well, brushed aluminum, so it's just something to keep in mind. The 2.0 comes with polished aluminum, and if you're aware, the polish, like, it gets dirty quickly, it gets scratches up quickly. The brush, however, it retains much longer without getting any kind of damage. Even if you're a watch enthusiast, you'll know, like, when like this is a polished watch, stainless steel, and this has tons of scratches, so it's good that they put the brushed there for you. Let's open up the trunk. Let me show you guys real quickly what that looks like. This is the key fob. I'm surprised this is not blue, but I guess the red still outlines the performance version of this car. It's a decent sized trunk, nothing to write home about, to be honest. The opening is small, but the overall trunk space is not bad. You can still fit quite a few things here: a carry-on bag, a couple of backpacks, and then you get the first aid kit that comes with the car. And it's good that they have an opening from the driver in the passenger seat to the trunk, so you can kind of toss things in or grab things in as you please. Gas tank on the right side. This is obviously a premium gas tank. just keep this is not a capless. I'm surprised that, like, not every car is capless. They should really kind of enforce that now. And this is a 13.7 gallon tank, I believe, premium gas, of course. So yeah, overall the car looks great. However, as I mentioned, I'm not seeing much of the Mark IV in this Supra, so it kind of goes to that second question that I was asking. Does it live up to the name? And frankly, in my opinion, if I can give you some sort of insight, it kind of doesn't. It's kind of a new car, new platform. We all know there's a lot of BMW embedded throughout this vehicle, however, it's still a nice package. I mean, I know they could have just labeled it as the FT1. However, if you put the Supra badge on it, then you get the popularity around this car. And let's check out the interior. Get that nice little animation on the gauge cluster when you get into the car. So overall, I mean, let's address the elephant in the cabin. You're seeing a lot of BMW in this car. You're seeing a lot of the Z4 in this car. The iDrive system, you know, the whole, from the thermostat to the shifter, everything is kind of BMW here. I'm surprised that there's not much Toyota going on in this car besides this badge right here. But otherwise, it's not something that I would complain about. The BMW interiors I've always liked for their, you know, their clean look, their simplicity. It's nice. The shifter I've always been a fan of. So you have this 8.8 gauge cluster, and I believe this is also 8.8 inches. The gauge cluster is kind of unique to this car, and when we turn it on, we'll look at that more carefully. You have this the typical iDrive system on this car. However, this screen is a little bit dim. So even in the daylight, it's the brightness, the max brightness is still not bright enough, so it's kind of hard to read and see that. But I mean, it's not something that bothers too much. Then you have, of course, your media controls, your climate controls, and then you have this shifter, and you have just some of the basic controls that you find in your iDrive system. However, here you have the automatic engine off toggle switch, you have the sport mode, and then you have the parking sensors and the safety system, and then the electronic handbrake. This is a two-seater car, so just keep that in mind. There's nothing in the back except that opening that I spoke about earlier. These are nice seats. They're Alcantara. They're pretty good. They hold you somewhat in place. They don't hold you that tightly, but it's okay. They're comfortable though. So, and this is a 14-way adjustable seat with memory seating for the driver's side. And yeah, let's start up this car and let's see how it looks. The power button is a little bit hidden behind the wheel. So yeah, I love that gauge cluster. It's a clean look. The tachometer right in the middle, going up to 6,500 RPM. One of the things that I forgot to show you actually was under the hood. So let's take a look at that while we have the engine on. Love that it has the hydraulic struts here for the hood. This is a big hood actually, now that I'm looking at it. So this is the B58 engine. This is the BMW engine with just the Toyota badge slapped onto it. But it's a great engine nonetheless. If you recall, like BMW engines, this is the successor to the N55 engine, the ones that you'll find in the 335s. And it's a great engine. If one thing about BMWs, if you've driven one, you'll know that they do a great job of making the driver feel connected to the car with its aggressive steering and its throttle response and things like that. This engine outputs 382 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque. It's a great number. Make sure if you're buying this car, get the 2021 because there's a 50 horsepower bump from the 2020 version. And frankly, it's a little bit of a mistake on Toyota's part. They should never have released it with low 300 horsepower numbers, because you are you know, you're straying away from a certain class of the car. You have the Nissan 400Z right around the corner, which is basically your direct competitor. I believe front engine, you know, rear wheel drive, but the 6-speed in that one, I believe, and that's at 400 horsepower, right? So you need to be able to compete against at least that car. And so now with the 2021, you get a good amount of power in this car. You have these chassis braces as well, which are for the 3.0 premium and up. So overall, it's a great engine. Let's take it out on a drive and let's see how it performs. So let's take this car out for a spin. First off, let me show you that reverse camera. It's a nice, decent reverse camera. You have trajectory. As you can see, the passenger side mirror folded down, as I mentioned before. So let's put it to drive. Now, the exhaust note, rather than me trying to explain how it sounds, I'm going to switch it into sport mode, really open it up, and roll down the window and let the car do the talking for you. I'm gonna leave it in sport mode for this drive, just to kind of get you guys that full experience from the exhaust. And as you heard earlier, that exhaust note is just absolutely ridiculous. It's so refined, it's so smooth, but it has those pops and crackles. Especially, I'm gonna toss into manual mode shortly and show you guys, you know, when you downshift, what it sounds like. But honestly, this car just feels great. I'm gonna try to do as much performance driving as I can, being mindful of the fact that I'm on these roads. I mean, look at the way this car pulls. It's such a seamless effort. There's no lag. I mean, the turbos sound great. The transmission, it shifts well. It's not as fast as a dual clutch. This is an 8-speed ZF transmission, so it won't be as fast as a dual clutch, but it's still relatively quick. Let me talk about the clearance here. This is a small windshield. The A-pillar and the B-pillar are quite they're in your way, let me put it that way. So if that's something that bothers you, that is evident here in this car. You do feel a little squished, you know, but it does have a low center of gravity. So if you're not used to that, that you will find that level of experience here in this car. The fuel economy in this car is not that bad. It's 22 in the city, 30 on the highway, so you're getting roughly 25 combined. Let me toggle the switch here to kind of give you the indicator. 265 miles, and it's a full tank here, I believe. Well, let's add in 10 more miles because I drove it previously. So yeah, 275 miles on a full tank. It's not bad, especially with the inline 6 3.0 engine. It's direct injection, of course. I will say the 2.0, that variant is there. It's actually new for the year as well. So you get a mid 200 horsepower car, you know, just intermediate from the 86 and then this 3.0 premium. But that 2.0, when you drive it, it's obviously not as you know, engaging as this car, but because you have a smaller engine, you have less weight on that front axle, and so it's more balanced throughout. So this car, when you take it around corners, you'll feel that it has a I mean, it has a little bit of body roll to it, and it's just it's planted as it can be. However, you can kind of feel the body rolling a bit. But again, why wouldn't you get the 3.0? You get that amazing, you get the amazing power, you get the amazing exhaust. This car, you can do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. And just remember, the 2020, you're above 4 seconds is because that power difference in the car. It's not a bad car to take, you know, just locally driving as well as I'm doing right now. I'm on the Pacific Coast Highway here, and as we all know, this is a beautiful highway. It's going to open up shortly, but it's even if you're driving it casually, take off the sport mode, and you won't get those aggressive downshifts. You won't get that aggressive response from the throttle. So you can make for a casual drive if you know if that's what you want. But I mean, truly, what you want is to hit that button, really open it up. And that pole, it's just, you get lost in that tachometer, you get lost in the speed. Like, you look up for once, you're at maybe 40, and you look up and you put your foot down for like half a second, you look down and you're in a whole different realm here. So this car is it's just gonna put a smile to your face every time you put your foot down. And the feedback that you get, combined with that sound, combined with the overall driving dynamics of this car, you're not gonna regret your purchase. This car comes in at about mid 50,000. You can get the 2.0 for mid 40, I believe, but it's really worth it. The A91 as well, you get those aesthetic design cues, which really pop the car, especially as I mentioned in the blue, this refraction blue that you get. And look at those downshifts, like, that's crazy. I'm not even doing that, that's just the car responding itself. It's gonna put a smile on your face every single time, and it's just truly an unreal experience. It's something that you have to get into the driver's seat, you have to experience it for yourself. And I haven't driven the 2021, so I don't know how that responds. I haven't driven the Mark IV Supra either. I never got the chance to do that, so I can't make a fair comparison. But I mean, I can tell you, because this car is more modernized, it's probably more refined. And that BMW engine is just outstanding. I'm not too sure about the reliability. Let's see long term how this car holds up. But I mean, Toyotas are known to hold up pretty well. But again, we have BMW components integrated all throughout the platform, so. So there you guys have it, the 2021 A91 Toyota Supra. Overall, it's a great driving experience. The video doesn't do justice. No video out there does. You have to get into the driver's seat and experience the car for yourself. You'll get an organic, natural feeling. The response from the engine, the throttle, the visceral sound that comes out of the exhaust, and it's truly a performance package that you can't miss out on. Now let's address the two questions that I asked in the beginning of the video. Number one, does it live up to its hype? I believe the answer is yes. It's honestly, you saw the video, you saw the driving experience. It's just a great package. It's however, like, you know, the use case is kind of specific. It's a two-door, two-seater car, so it's really a bachelor car or you know, a weekend car. So but nonetheless, you're getting a lot of car out of this price point for mid 50,000. The second question is, does it live up to its name? The answer, in my opinion, is no. Well, it's a yes or a no, and I know you're gonna hate me for saying this. It's agree to disagree kind of matter. This car has no ties with the Mark IV. It doesn't kind of carry anything from that platform. It's just it's a BMW car with Z4 components. However, the exterior is unique, so that's good, but it's just got a Toyota badge slapped onto it. They should have just kept it as the FT1 name, but we'll let that go, because when you slap on the Supra name, then you carry its legacy forward, which I like. It's a great marketing tactic as well. You're carrying the legacy, you're carrying the name, and frankly, this car is carrying it well. So it's a yes or no answer. Let me know what you guys think.